Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video, I really wanted to do a fall inspired makeup look. I know I already put one up using the NYX Fire palette, but I have a couple of things that I ordered online from Ulta. Everything is from the drugstore. It's all affordable products. I have a few things that I've had my eyes on, but I just haven't picked up. I actually made this order a couple of weeks ago. I'm so excited because I have not touched anything. I've been waiting to film it. That's what we're gonna do today. I wanted to do a get ready with me using some products that I've never tried before, and we are almost in October, you guys. Right around the corner from Halloween. So fall is here. All you're gonna be seeing from me are Halloween tutorials and fall makeup tutorials. There is going to be no colorful eyeshadow makeup looks over here. We are doing warm red, browns, greens, beautiful fall colors. I am so ready. I am so excited. Let's go ahead and jump into the video. I have my brows done already. I just used my Anastasia dip brow, which is my holy grail brow product of all time. I will never stop using that until the day I die. I know that's like really dramatic, but I legit will never stop using that product. I have my eyes primed. I just used my soft ochre from MAC. That is also my holy grail eyeshadow primer. I set my primer with a little bit of a cream shadow from, I think it was the Kat Von D palette, but any cream shadow will do. The first thing I'm gonna try is this NYX palette. This is the NYX Avant Pop palette. I have actually never heard of this. I don't know anything about it. I mentioned in my review video for the Fire palette, the NYX Fire palette, that I'm not the biggest fan of their shadows or their palettes in general. I do really like that palette, but in general, I don't care for their shadows. They're not my favorite. When I got the Fire palette, this was a gift with purchase. I'm gonna swatch a few. The shimmers are really nice, actually. The mattes are what's gonna matter, because mattes are hard to formulate. Okay, there's no shades on here, which that's not really a big deal to me. I don't really care if the shadows have names or not, but I'm just gonna go in with this one right here. It's just your typical transition color. I'm gonna take this with a Morphe M504 brush. I'm going for a really warm smoky eye. I mean, what else would I be doing? Let's be real. I have a couple of pigments that I want to try out from J.Cat Beauty. I have been so excited to try them out. I think I have two, and one's like a coppery color, and then another one's like a goldish color. I'm gonna do one of those two on the lid. I'm just planning to go in with some really warm transition colors, and I don't think I like this palette. Number one, it is so powdery. I can usually work with powdery shadows, but I'm getting like no color on my brush. There's hardly any color going onto my eye. It's very, very faint. You can barely see the color going onto my lid. Okay, I'm not using this palette. There's not that many transition shades anyways. There's just this brown peachy one, and then there's just this deep brown one. So what I like to do is I'll go in with a color like this, something in between, and then usually use a shadow like this in the very inner crease or on the outer V. There are just not that many options. I don't know if this is gonna work for me today. The shimmers seem really nice. That purple one doesn't swatch that great. The green swatches really nicely. And then this blue one is okay. It's really powdery. I don't think I'm gonna use this today. I just don't have the patience to mess with it. There's just not really that many transition shades that I want to use for the look that I'm going for. So maybe I'll try this again and try to do something more colorful, because there are more colorful shadows in there. I don't like that matte shade, so I have a feeling the other one's going to be just as bad, and I just don't have the patience to mess with it. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. I love this palette. This palette is so good. I have not one single bad thing to say about this palette. The transition shades in this palette are so beautiful. There is every single transition shade that you could ever want to use, ever. My palette didn't come with the insert. I think they forgot mine with the names on it, so I don't know what the names are. What do I want to do? I think I'm gonna go in with this. I'm gonna go in with this yellow one. That is the pigment I'm looking for. Yes, that is it. I love, love, love the transition shades. There's just such a big variety. I know a lot of people hate on Morphe, and people hate on people who are affiliates and stuff like that, and I don't know what the big deal is about Morphe. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, and that's fine. I have absolutely no issue with that. I know there's so much controversy around Morphe and like their palettes and their shadows and their brushes. I have no affiliation with Morphe whatsoever. I like their brushes. Their brushes are not the best. I wouldn't say that they are like my holy grail brushes in any way whatsoever. I haven't tried a ton of their face brushes, but I love their eyeshadow brushes. The majority of them work for me, some of them don't. It's not a big deal. I guess I don't know why Morphe gets so much hate. I'm not the biggest fan of their makeup. People love the Morphe 350 palette. I have that palette and I don't use it. I just don't care for it. There's something about the shadows that they don't blend well enough for me. The Morphe 35R, it's the one with all the golds and coppers. That palette is the bomb. I love that palette and I love the Jaclyn Hill palette. This palette is awesome. I haven't gotten to play with it that much, which is why I'm using it in this video. On top of that, I like to do tutorials where I don't have to go in with like a shadow from MAC or a shadow from Makeup Geek or a shadow from Morphe or a shadow from L'Oreal. I like to do videos and makeup looks where it's kind of like a one-stop shop. That's just what I like to do for my videos, so that's what I'm going to continue to do. I'm going to go in with this shade here. I'm pretty sure this one is called Pukey if I'm not mistaken. I love these mustardy colors. They're so pretty, especially if you're going for that blown out warm smoky eye. Love them. I love them. I love them. So I just took my Sigma E40 brush and I went right over that first shade that I used. I'm going to go in with this one right here. This is a smaller blending brush and I'm going to go into the crease. When I do my eye makeup, I always lift up my eyebrows. I know that's not good for wrinkles, but it really helps to get deep into that crease. This is my bad eye. This one sinks a little lower than this one. I feel like this eye always looks perfect and this is like what is it called? The black sheep of the family? I think that's what the term is. When I post pictures on Instagram, I always pose on this side. This is my good side because it's still young and this side is old. I'm staying underneath the Pukey color. I want to see that transition. I'm not really being super precise. I'm allowing myself to be a little messy because it's gonna look fine all in the end. As long as you take your time blending, everything is gonna look great. Although I am being sloppy, I am really taking my time to blend so nothing looks choppy. It'll all look fine in the end. I do this when I'm in a rush. I just kind of like throw some colors in the crease and it turns out fine. Everything looks okay. Lastly, for the crease, I'm gonna take this Avon crease brush. It looks more of like a fat pencil brush. I'm gonna go in with this lash shade right here. It's a really deep brown. I'm gonna take a little more time because I really wanna focus this in the very, very inner crease. So I'm gonna be a little more careful with this one because the color is so deep. I don't want this to look choppy or sloppy at all. A trick to doing this, you guys, when I'm going in with a really deep color and I wanna focus it right in the fold of my eye, I'll look straight into my mirror and I'll kind of lay the color down so I can see exactly where I want it. I'll lift up my eyebrows like this and then I'll go in and make sure to blend it. That kind of lays down a guideline for me so I know where I want the color to go. Also make sure that you're not going too high up into these other transitions that you already laid down. I'm gonna take my first transition shade, that yellow shade, tap my brush in and tap off as much as I can just so there's hardly any product on there. And I'm gonna go in and blend everything together. I like to do this with just the smallest amount of my first transition shade. When you go in and blend, you lose a little bit of your color. This really brings that first color back in and it helps soften any type of harshness that there is. Look at this eye compared to this eye. This one looks a little choppier. It's a little more harsh on the inner corner. So by taking this color, this is gonna help soften all of that. You just really, really have to take your time blending. You can never compromise your blending. I'm gonna go in with one of these pigments. These are both from J.Cat. They're just called Shimmery Powder. Okay, works for me. I have this gold one and then I also have this copper one. I think I'm gonna go in with the gold. I know this is such a basic like fall makeup look. I'm gonna go in with a red lip and I think the red would look prettier with the gold. And there's no name, or I think there was a name, but I think I accidentally ripped the sticker off. I'll list everything in the description box below. I'm gonna take this NYX Glitter Glue. I've never used this glitter glue. I'm so excited to try this because I've heard such good things about it. And the Too Faced one is so expensive. This is like $25 or something absurd like that. It's really good. I'm not gonna knock it. I love that glitter glue and it lasts forever. I've probably had that for at least 2 years now and it is like literally glue. Like you can't beat it. It's just so expensive. Like when it comes to repurchasing it, I'm like, oh, glitter glue, really? Like $25? That's kind of a lot. I've heard this NYX Glitter Glue is a really good dupe for the Too Faced one. I'm gonna let that get tacky for just a second because that's what I usually do with the Too Faced one. I don't like the container on this. It's hard to get your brush in there, but I guess that's not necessarily a deal breaker. I'm gonna take this flat brush. This is the Morphe G20. This is a really precise flat brush, so this is gonna help me carve out the lid and lay down the shadow exactly where I want to lay it. I like the pigment. It is so, so pretty, and the glitter glue seems to be doing its job. I just hate the packaging. How am I supposed to get my brush in there? I had to dump some out, but I feel like that's a really good way to waste product if you accidentally dump out too much. But these were pretty inexpensive. I believe they were only $2.99. I'm not gonna complain about the packaging too much just because of the price point. I like this glitter glue. It is so sticky. Oh my God, this is so pretty. I love this. This gold is a little different than your typical gold. It's definitely not just only gold. It definitely has a little bit of peach in there. I can definitely forgive the packaging just because of how beautiful this is. I can't wait to use the copper one. I'm gonna do my liner, put on my lashes. I'm gonna go ahead and do this off camera. I'm just gonna use my NYC liquid liner, and I'm gonna use these lashes. These are the Faux Mink Ardell in 811. I've tried another one from them. They're very pretty. They just weren't long enough for me. These look promising. So I'm gonna do these 2 steps and then I'll be right back. I'm back. I've got liner on and I've got lashes on. I know I said I was gonna use the Ardell lashes, but they were just not dramatic enough for what I was going for, so I ended up using these Allure gilded ones. These are so bomb. They're so thick and dramatic. I love them. They just like complete any look. I have my face moisturized, so what I'm gonna do next is go in with primer. The primer I'm using at the moment is this Dr. Jart Pores No More. I actually don't like this primer, and I didn't realize I didn't like it until about halfway through the tube. Your makeup goes over this primer nicely and everything. That's not the issue. The issue is that it doesn't hide your pores and it doesn't keep my T-zone matte. Just trying to finish this off because I don't want it anymore and I'm almost done with it. I don't like to throw things away. I hate wasting things, not just makeup, but I hate wasting in general. So if I don't give it to someone or I don't donate it, I will just finish it until I'm done with it because I don't like to waste things at all. While I'm waiting for my primer to kind of sink into the skin, I'm just gonna deepen my crease a bit more because I do want it a little more intense now that I have my lashes on. I'm just gonna go in with the deepest color that I use, and I'm just gonna take this through the crease. I took the smallest amount of color. I hardly had anything on my brush. And I'm just gonna deepen a little bit more, and you can see what a difference that made. Let's get the face done, okay? I'm tired of looking at this broken out skin. My current foundation cocktail of choice are these 2 right here. This is the L'Oreal Infallible number 105 Natural Beige, and this is a sample. I believe I got this from Sephora. This is the Cover FX Natural Finish Foundation. This is in the shade N40. I've been mixing these 2 together, and I actually really love the way that the finish looks. I take more of the L'Oreal one because I am still pretty tan, and the Cover FX is still a bit too light for me on its own. I've been incorporating retinol into my nighttime skincare, so my skin is so broken out and aggravated right now. I have been loving the combination of the 2 together because the Cover FX really helps balance out that matte look that the L'Oreal one has. We're gonna move on to concealer. I know I've raved about the Apricot Corrector from Maybelline. I went ahead and got the yellow one for light to medium skin tone, so hopefully this works for me in the winter months. Whenever you're ready, honey, you just let me know. Oh my God. Okay, there we go. Ooh. This kind of reminds me of the, I think it's the Age Rewind Neutralizer. That used to be my jam. I don't know why I ever stopped using it because I love it. I'm gonna go ahead and go in pretty heavy-handed like I typically do with a corrector. You can't do that with the orange one, and that's because you can still see that orange tint peeking through. I'm gonna take a little on the nose. I would say for really light, fair skin tones, you could actually probably use this as a concealer. It is very brightening. Ooh, the coverage is good. I wouldn't say it's a full coverage. I'd say light to medium if you do want to use this as a concealer. What I'm gonna do next is I am not using the Tarte Shape Tape, which is crazy, I know. I got these samples. I think I also got this in that same online order with the Cover FX. This is the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I'll go ahead and try to insert a picture if I remember, but this is just the sample. I have been using this for about the past week though, so a little bit of this goes a very long way. My only issue is that it creases. Even with baking, it does crease. I don't even know if you're supposed to use it for under your eyes, but that's what I've been doing. If I were to purchase like the full size, I would probably use this on my face. I have Custard Medium 1 and then Vanilla Light 2. The Custard is a little more peachy toned. I've been laying that one down first and then just taking a small swipe of the light one right over top to balance out that color. This concealer is really full coverage. I just wish it didn't crease as much as it did. That is kind of a deal breaker for me, especially because I'm so picky with concealers. I don't want it to crease. When I say I'm picky with concealers, I am not kidding you guys. Before I discovered Shape Tape, I used the MAC Pro Longwear. It was just so good. I never had a reason to look for another concealer. People were raving about the Shape Tape. I had to try it just because I'm a junkie and I have to try every single new thing. I don't even know where I'm going with this conversation. I totally lost my train of thought. I'm taking MAC Emphasize and Anastasia Vanilla. This is the concoction I'm using today to set my under eyes. I'm gonna take the Maybelline Loose Fit Me powder. I'm gonna lightly dust this on the face. Do you guys ever get tired, like once you're done with your eyes, do you ever get sick of like doing your makeup and you just wanna hurry up and finish your face? Because I get like that. Like I spend so much time and effort on my eye makeup that by the time I get to my face, I'm like, oh my God, could we just get this over with? Okay, so I'm actually gonna use a different bronzer today. I'm not using the butter bronzer. I'm gonna go in with this Laura Mercier one. This is the Matte Radiance Baked Bronzer in the shade number 4. I just kind of feel like switching it up. I get in this rut where I never stop using the same things. We're gonna go ahead and switch it up. I'm gonna really concentrate this on my big ass forehead. I have this NYX contour. I bought the singles when I was at the store. This is in the shade Sculpt. Let's try this out. I've heard such good things about the NYX contours. That's a really pretty contour. It looks really gray in the pan, but it doesn't come out that way on the skin. I like it. It's very pretty. For blush, I have this new one from Essence. This is called the Essence Satin Touch Blush, and it's in the shade Satin Love. Essence, I feel like, is one of the most underrated makeup products. I don't know if this is just because they're so cheap that people kind of wonder about them. Oh my God, that's so pretty. I love that. Let's move on to highlighting. I have this Wet n Wild highlighter. This is the Wet n Wild MegaGlo highlighting powder in the shade Golden Flower Crown. This little guy is hard to get. I finally got my hands on it, and this better be incredible like everybody says, because I'm gonna be pissed if I couldn't get my hands on it and it's just kind of like whatever. Oh, you guys, this is intense. I love a golden highlight. This is, yes, that is the bomb, and that I think was only $5. You cannot beat the price point on that. That is so pretty too. Let's go ahead and move on to the lower lash line. I'm gonna do a pretty simple lower lash line. I don't want anything too heavy because I'm gonna do a bold lip. I'm gonna go ahead and take this shade right here. I'm gonna take this one because it's so warm. It's gonna tie in with all of our crease colors. This is a flat definer brush. I'm gonna take the deepest shade that I put in my crease and I'm just gonna press this up against the lower lash line. I just want this to be a little bit deeper, but I don't want it to be too intense. I'm literally just taking this color and stamping the lightest amount. There's hardly anything on this brush. You could take one dip into the shadow. It should be good for your whole eye. We're gonna go back in with this brush and blend it out. I'm gonna take my trusty L'Oreal Voluminous. To finish off my brows, I'm gonna use the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. I always do my brows first. Always get some type of powder on my brows. I like to take a brow gel. If you just brush that through your brows, it will get rid of that powder. I'm gonna take the shade Beam from the Jaclyn and Morphe palette. For the inner corner, I'm gonna go ahead and try this NYX glitter liner. This is in the shade Crystal Silk. Oh, yes. It just looks so pretty on the inner corner. I love it. It was a little gloppy. It didn't really move out that well with this applicator. That's not a big deal because I know it's made more to apply liner. So it kind of just sat in the same place. So I just took my brush and lightly brushed it onto my lid just so there was a little bit more of an even application. For lips, I'm gonna go in with this. This is the Ochre, and I believe this is the collab with Kathleen Lights. This is in the shade Havana Nights. I have never tried Ochre's lip colors before. I heard they're very comfortable. I'm actually gonna put on just the smallest amount of chapstick. My lips are so chapped and dry. I always do this when I go in with a liquid lip. I'll kind of blot off the majority of it so it's not too slippery for the lipstick to stick to. That's it for this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you enjoyed getting ready with me. I know I mentioned this in my last Get Ready With Me. I love just doing my makeup on camera, talking about things that I like, things that I don't like, my first impression and opinion on new products that I'm using, and I hope you guys enjoy them too. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're not subscribed, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe before you leave. Let me know what other type of videos you want to see. I am open for suggestions. I love, love, love making these videos. I'm having so much fun doing them. So let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye. And picked up, that's my new Halloween text tone. Smallest amount of my first transition. Oh fuck. Ooh, let's fix his hair first. Get your life, girl. And then like bomb, excuse me.